Now it's time for Inspirational Women, and my guest, Corinne Cavanaugh, a local author, a mother of three. So she's an inspiration in how she juggles home and kids and career. And it's quite possible that the research and dreaming she does for her books brings a sense of awareness to her personal life. Today, we get to take a peek into the second of three Audacious books. This is An Audacious Partnership. Corinne Cavanaugh, good morning. I'm so glad that we get a chance to have a great conversation once again.
Oh, thanks, Kate. I'm happy to be here again.
And thank you. We're in studio, which is really nice, so we can see eye to eye, see each other's reaction. And today we're here to talk about the second book in an audacious series, because I do love that word.
Oh, it's a fun word.
Isn't it, though?
Yeah.
It's just so robust and meaningful and fun and almost wild.
Yeah,
Wouldn't
it
you
is.
say?
It is.
Yes.
It is a little wild.
Well, and here it's an audacious partnership. You know, to get into Audacious Partnership, we should maybe do just a slight recap of the first book, An Audacious Woman, which we talked about really not all that long ago. It was in the summer.
Yeah, it's An Audacious Woman is the first book in this series, and it's a really lovely, fun fiction read about an older female protagonist who has this Gilded Age mansion in New York. And she inherited it, and she's been the property manager her whole life, and she just is ready to leave and travel. She wants to travel the world. She's stuck with this. Gorgeous, but she's stuck with this estate. And so she hosts a contest to give it away to a complete stranger. 5 people live in that mansion and compete. And it's sort of a dramatic comedy. I mean, there's a lot that happens. But, there's a winner.
Yes. Which then leads us to the second book, which I have in hand, which, it did come out in November, but we're just talking about it right now. And I think the timing is really great because, here it is just days before Christmas and Hanukkah, which happened on the same day this year. And we think in terms of gift giving. So, stocking stuffer, last minute gift ideas for someone,
Oh, yeah.
Your bestie, that sort of thing. We have An Audacious Partnership.
Yep, and that 2-day shipping comes in handy, that's for sure.
Yes, exactly.
For all
Yes.
these last-minute gifts, I know I've got a couple to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's kind of interesting. I mean, that somebody wins, and this kind of spoiler is, well, there's somebody who wins, but then there's somebody else who kind of wins too. And so what I wanted to do with this book is just show what these 2 amazing women do to the mansion and how they live out their dreams.
Yes, and wow, it is amazing. I mean, it's really quite a quick read in a way because we're about 150 pages, so that's pretty fast. But each chapter really takes us on quite an adventure. You really pack a lot into some very short chapters.
It's so true. It's so true, and it's sort of my way because I'm a short form writer originally, I would say, having a marketing background.
Sure.
So the challenge for me as a writer is to make it longer. So I have these big ideas and I know what I want to say and bam, 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 bam. And then I figure out, let's add some more for the reader.
Right.
So it is a quick read, quick, fun read.
Yes.
This one I think is a little bit more humorous. I packed some humor in there and it was a good time.
There's humor, there's romance, there's intrigue.
Yes.
And there's the collaboration. I love that word anyway. But
Yes.
there is a wonderful collaboration, and as you mentioned, with women being
Yes.
able to come together, or having a partnership that is the different talents.
Exactly.
Acknowledging that and respecting that and really seeing how that can work together to be even something greater. What do they call that? Synergy.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, exactly. These 2 women are so different. They're different age groups or, they were raised differently. They have different political beliefs. And so it's really, I wanted to show how these 2 women are actually making each other stronger in this partnership. And they go through all of these sort of trials and tribulations of what it means to be a business owner or business leader or entrepreneur. And so it's really great to kind of see them grapple with that. And then they've got some romance that comes along. And you know what I love? They're not distracted by that romance.
And that was a question at the back of my mind. Like, would they? Perhaps think it's better to put that on the back burner. Let's just stay focused. But no, we need to see how we have today.
Yes.
Tomorrow is a potential, but we don't know. So you live your best life today.
Yeah, absolutely. And just because you're so career focused doesn't mean you have to put romance aside. But the opposite of that is also true, which is, in a lot of these romance books I've read in the past, it's all consuming and passion and fire that the female gets distracted, and you often see her put her personal or career goals aside to pursue romance. And I did not want that to happen. I wanted them to do it all in a really thoughtful way where the business partners, become aligned, they talk through it, they have a plan, and they pursue their love interests really well and responsibly while achieving their business goals.
Right. And to see that happen, what you were saying about, being of different mindsets, having different talents, but being able to communicate. In today's world, this couldn't be more timely and more important to really put forth, like, this is what is possible. This is what makes sense.
Yeah, and
right?
especially this time of year. My goodness, I feel like as a society, we are more polarized than ever. And it kind of breaks my heart that, folks are maybe not inviting Uncle so-and-so to the holiday celebration because they're just worried it's going to bring up that topic.
Yeah.
But, I wanted to show in this book and the others that you can be of different values and of different beliefs and come together and still have cordial conversations without getting in a riff and without making it feel yucky. You can still be kind and generous to the other person.
Yes.
I think that's a skill we need to work on as a society because, sure, you can be passionate about your beliefs and that's fine, but you can still be a nice person. So I try to show that, in the dialogue in these books.
Right, exactly. And while in the book it really does come together well, you don't have to have this lasting long, as you say, you keep it succinct. And that is great because it actually can be like that in life. You don't
Real
have
life.
to string it out and have an argument that's just ongoing and ongoing. Yeah,
I mean, at the risk of getting hate messages, I will share a personal story.
Sure.
I have a good friend. She's still a good best friend. And her and I are opposite political beliefs. And we were talking one day. She had joined me for my master's degree graduation in Boston. And I left my kids and husband at home. I said, come on, girl, let's go celebrate. So she came and that was lovely. And we were talking in the hotel and she said, oh, this and that, this opinion about gun control. And I said, oh, well, that's interesting because that's the exact same argument for pro-choice. And it's just really interesting because in that moment, we know that we don't have the same beliefs, but we were still best friends. And we both looked at each other and said, yeah, I can see that. And you move on and you have a great day.
Yes.
And I think that can happen all over in business and in everyday life or with someone, a family member that's a little distant. So I'm hoping that those sort of things come about.
Yes, because when we think about it, by having a conversation, and it doesn't have to be my way. Who said my way is the right way? But being open our minds to some other ideas and thoughts. Maybe together we'll find some middle road that is really the best path,
Absolutely.
or at least the better path to go.
Absolutely. And I think as a society, as an American society, we have to be open to that type of dialogue and discourse to help bring us back a little bit further together, maybe off the edges.
Yes.
Otherwise, you just kind of get in your own. It's very easy these days, especially with social media, to really get in your own news cycles in your own head and on your pedestal, you could say. But, when you talk to people, you hear their points of view, you can have a little bit of empathy for their position, even if it's not your position.
That's a key word, is the empathy that seems to be lacking, that perhaps there are people who think it shouldn't exist or something, but if we can, they used to be say, walk a mile in a person's shoes.
Yeah.
Put yourself there to kind of feel it, to get a sense of what that experience might be and how we can be more of a solution rather than cause more of a problem.
Absolutely. And that's kind of why in this book series, I'm intentional to show all of the different points of view, not just my point of view and sort of like pushing my agenda personally. I don't think that that's really what we should be doing. I think even in fiction, especially in fiction, really, you can actually kind of mentally walk a mile in someone's shoes.
Yes.
Through these characters. And it's a really low confrontation way to think about, what that character might be going through, what that point of view really is.
And that's why I think you had said before in our first meeting when we talked about An Audacious Woman that you write for book groups, that this is so ideal in that sense because it gives us this platform to consider different points of view and discuss it in a conversational, a civilized way and practice that.
Absolutely.
Right.
And I love that in An Audacious Partnership, these two women are embarking on a journey together in business. Because today we still have some disparity at the C-suite around women being in those roles or in board seats. And so I think part of that is just how it is. But part of that is some reluctance, maybe. Women, certainly myself, I wondered from my first business if I could do it. And, it's easy to be really reluctant. And I think that through this book, I wanted to show what it could really look like on the ground day to day with two women business partners holding up each other together and really going after their dreams.
Yes. And in fact, it's near the end of the book, you have a sentence, together, women are unstoppable. I mean, I had to note that because I thought,
they are, though.
That should be a bumper sticker.
That should be. I might be coming out with merch in the new year.
Oh.
Yeah, I think that will maybe not a bumper sticker, but maybe
a T-shirt.
Coffee mug, T-shirt.
A mug, yes. Water bottle. We were talking about water bottles.
But truly they are. I really think they are.
Yeah, and, to understand that, part of it, I think in many instances, I mean, it's not a given that women will be more collaborative, but tend to be more so. And when you put those energies together, that's where you see that unstoppable.
Exactly. And I think it's even amplified when you come from different corners of the world.
Yes.
Or different points of view. You can escape some of the gotchas that happen in business when you're not knowing your customer fully. If you have diversity in the boardroom, if you have diversity in just your, circle of influencers around you, or you and your business partner have a different point of view.
Yes.
I think it's really great for the product or service.
Yes. There's that same sort of situation of walking a mile in someone's shoes. You get that experience, but to have someone who is in these other shoes, to bring that together, it's so important for us to get that experience and to be able to then share it with the world.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So you see, all the wonderful nuances and themes and opportunities we get in this great story, An Audacious Partnership.
Absolutely. Women's empowerment, women in business, being your loudest, best self. I like to say going for it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's that audacity, right? These two characters in An Audacious Partnership are both inspired by Eleanor, the previous protagonist in the book before, but also they're coming into their own audacity.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really cool to watch their evolution.
Yes. And when you think of it, too, we have then essentially 3 generations.
Correct.
Because we have Eleanor from the first book who, as you said, in her 80s.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so incredible to see older women still continuing, to do their part in the world. It isn't like, oh, well, time
as
to
they
go.
are in real life.
Yes, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Continue to do that. But then here with the partnership, we have 2 different generations.
Yes.
And to see the gifts that each has because of who they are, but then helping the other to kind of become more of who they are.
Absolutely. Kathy is in her 50s and she's, super conservative and a little shy. She's lacking confidence, you could say. And, she's sort of an empty nester. Her daughter's off at college. And then you've got Brooke, who's the 30-something elder millennial age. And, she's got a lot of confidence and she's done some stuff running these properties in New York, but she doesn't have a lot of life experience.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're really bringing it together. And, they phone a friend occasionally to talk to Eleanor, get some of her experience from that older generation. So I think there's a lot of room to do cool things with multi-generational arrangements.
Yes, I think we can only help ourselves by being open to that. Mm-hmm. And here we have that experience to have it vicariously with the Audacious Partnership to see how it works here.
Yeah.
And then the little wrenches that go in there. It's like, oh my gosh, not just really being almost blindsided, like, oh, I did not expect that to happen. So,
good.
Oh my gosh, you entered some surprises in here. So
I'm glad. Yeah, I mean, honestly, my writing style is after I feel like I've got a solid draft. I go, okay, how can I make this spicier? And I go put some wrenches in. So that's cool that you saw that.
And they make sense.
They make sense, absolutely.
Yeah, they make sense, but just being, it just makes the story like, oh my gosh, this is incredible.
Yeah, I will give the listeners one little secret that comes up because it's so cool. And I'm writing it right now in the 3rd book, which is Kathy's daughter says, hey, I want a wedding here.
Yes.
And they agree that they're going to host a wedding at this gorgeous, what is now a hotel and art collective. And wow, I mean, it's eye candy for your mind. And so that's going to be prominently featured. So they agreed to that in the 2nd book, and it's going to be prominently featured in Audacious Love.
Whoa, then that is great because that book, yes, now we're mentioning it. It's really coming out pretty soon.
Very soon, February 1st.
Yes.
Just in time for Women's Empowerment Month in March.
So mark that. We're going to be talking about that one too. Yes, of course, because we need to know what happens, but also, again, underscoring, the role of women and who we are, all that we can be. Mm-hmm. So that's going to be great to have a conversation about.
Absolutely. And right now, I'm thinking about this book and their partnership and they're embarking on a business. Well, not everybody can do that, right? Everyone has their own thing going on. Yeah. But I want to encourage women to just collaborate with each other, whether it's doing a brand collab that's super popular right now, or, just like being empathetic to and asking each other, hey, how can I help you in your next goal in life? I mean, you don't have to start a business.
No.
You
Because
can just,
well,
yeah.
because that isn't everyone's talent and experience
Yeah.
or desire.
Yeah.
So it's not like this is what you have to do to be successful. No, but to find your passion, find someone, that partner who's going to really be a support and cheerleader along the way, and also someone who's going to maybe pose some hard questions.
Exactly. Exactly. And if you've got that team built or those one or two people who you're in sync with and you're helping push their dreams and goals forward and they're doing the same for you, that's going to add to your quality of life, right?
Sure.
And it's going to move your goals forward. So it's very exciting. I'm embarking on a collaboration. Would you like to hear about it?
Yes. You mean other than the merch?
Yes.
In addition
well,
to
she will be involved in the merch
Oh,
too.
okay.
But after the third book comes out, I want to put together a special edition with all 3 in one with a very lovely book cover.
Ooh.
Special edition. And to do that, I wanted to find an artist. And I was searching high and low, and I found one right here in our backyard. Valerie Washington paints these amazing portraits of women. And she is the most audacious woman. I would say she's the most like Eleanor I have ever met in my real life. She's my real life Eleanor. And she's just really a lovely artist. So her and I are collaborating. We're talking about all sorts of things, including the special edition cover. And, well, you'll just have to see.
Yeah, I guess so. Well, and as you share that, Corinne, that's an important part of life, and embracing that for ourselves, is to be open to, what's kind of the next step. It comes to you. It's unfolding. You wouldn't be looking at that cover for putting the 3 books together if the first one hadn't come out. So it's, the taking the step to the next step coming out, and then, and who knows, then what the next one will be. But you don't have to know that.
Right. You don't have to have it all figured out.
No, exactly.
You just have to take that first step.
Yes, because I think the end is not, well, the end. The next steps aren't going to be, you won't even recognize them.
Yes.
Because you have to take these initial ones.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. I didn't know that. I had pursued other artists, and she came right to me, and she even came to my book launch party. Oh my gosh, Valerie, you're so terrific. And so you never know where it's going to come from.
Because you were ready.
Because I was
that's
ready.
What you were at that stage. And that's, yeah. So your story in itself, I think, really has so much to teach us about what we need to do. As you started the books, the research that you did, how you learned all about that, because you said you were doing marketing writing.
Yeah,
not writing novels.
I was not writing novels, and I had this wild dream with Eleanor and these great characters, and I thought, okay, I really want to write this book, but I don't know how to write. Not like that. Yeah. So I jumped on an online learning platform, Masterclass. And I took all of the courses by Margaret Atwood and James Patterson to learn their methods. And I implemented their methods, and there we go.
Yes. So, yes, you did the work, but it came first with that idea from the dream. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Pay attention to those dreams, right? There are messages here. It's so important to pay attention, and then to find ways that you make that happen.
Yeah, and if it's something that you're passionate about, even if it's a passing thought or not necessarily a dream, it can just be, you can make it into what you want it to be. Don't just give up on it and say, oh, I can't do that. Maybe it's not, I can't do that right now. Mm-hmm. It might be an idea for the future. So, just it's okay to hold multiple dreams and goals in your mind, knowing that someday things might come together in the right way.
Because you didn't necessarily think about there being 3 books
No,
here.
I thought it was just one. I just thought about the one. And at the end of that book, I thought, oh, well, these 2 characters I've created are really dynamic and fascinating. I, as a reader would want to see what happens to the estate. I want to see what they do.
Yes, yes.
So I said, okay, probably should write that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, the other lingering question after the first book is, Eleanor got free. She was able to make it out. So where's she going to go? What's she going to do?
Yes.
So that's the third book. Yeah.
Yeah. And featuring the wedding right there.
Oh,
too.
featuring the wedding. And she escapes with Oliver, her beau. They're not married, but they've been together their whole lives pretty much. And so you get to see their dynamics and really how things could change in retirement. I mean, they have both had a mission, the same mission in their jobs over the last several decades. And so now that they're retired, there are a lot of challenges, I think, that come from that. I've heard that from different people.
Mm-hmm.
And also just, aging and romance and unpack all of those things.
Yes. See, all of these things that feature for us, regardless of our age.
Yes.
Certainly at a younger age, just being aware of that and kind of living our life so that those years are great, kind of as Eleanor did, as we see in the books.
Mm-hmm.
But also for someone, of a more mature age, to maybe then be encouraged or think of other possibilities.
Yeah, you're not done. You're not done. I think it was my friend Valerie Washington, the artist, that said, I call this my encore. Oh, what am I going to do in my encore? And I just love that because it is an encore. Every chapter of your life is a new chapter, and you get to decide what you're going to do with it, no matter your age.
And so that's very similar but different, to what we were saying about having that empathy, having compassion, understanding what it's like to walk in another person's shoes. Oh, well, this is my shoes, but it's different ones because it's, 10 years in the future. What's going to happen? How will I be? How do I prepare now to be as audacious as possible?
Yeah, and I like the fact that you can start thinking ahead in your life, right? Like, what is this going to be in the future? And one of the career advice I actually got early in my career was, well, you should really, for mentors, you should look for someone who's 2 steps ahead of you. Not so far that you can't get to where they're at, but their advice is going to be the most relevant to you. And I thought, well, that's something. And so that's kind of what I tried to do with these characters being in these different age groups. They all have someone they're looking up to and possibly reflecting back to.
Yes. So look at all the educational value here, besides entertainment value, but really to consider. That's where the book clubs come in, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
There's
discussion.
A lot of topics to consider in these books. I mean, it's pretty vast, and some of these topics maybe people don't talk about all the time.
Right. Yes, they think that, oh no, it's kind of too delicate, or
exactly
who wants to talk about this? But
exactly,
anybody
should.
Might. Yes,
yeah, you should talk about exercise and aging and perimenopause and menopause and how does that go? And oh my gosh, what do you expect there? And
interfering in another person's life.
Yeah.
Even, right?
Yeah. Should you interfere or should you not? And how can you handle that when you've got a business partner and you don't necessarily agree with their romance? So it's just it's pretty spicy. What can I say?
Yes, it is. Well, what you can say is that, here we are, days before the big gift-giving time, but, sometimes people are late or you're meeting after the holidays. What a great gift to give, well, to so many people on your list, men included.
I think so, because, men help lift up audacious women.
And that happens
absolutely
very well in this book.
Yes. The romantic partners I wrote in this book were very intentionally written to lift up women, because when you have strong women personalities, that's exactly how it should be. Don't let anybody dull your shine.
Yes, absolutely. What a great note to kind of be wrapping up with. Except to say website so we can get more information, contact.
Head to audaciousbook.com I would love it if you followed me on Instagram. It's Corinne Cava, CorinneCava. And it's available. Both of these books are available on Amazon, on Kindle, paperback, audiobook.
Perfect. Well, I know it. In saying this has been great, it only means we're going to be seeing each other again in a few months
yes,
to talk about
definitely.
the third book. So that is so exciting. But I am so grateful to you, Corinne, for your writing, for pursuing your passion, and of course, for taking time with us today.
Thank you, Kate, for having me on. It's a pleasure.
You're welcome. That brings us to the end of a very full hour of Inspirational Women with Corinne Cavanaugh and Sunday Morning Magazine with Hugo Balan. I'm Kate Daniels, your host, and I greatly appreciate your sharing this hour with me and these special guests. For details you might have missed or information you'd like to know, please just send me an email, kated@warm1069.com, and I will get right back to you. Also, if you'd like to listen again or share these important stories with your family and friends, find the podcast on our Warm 1069 webpage. Just click on the Listen tab, then Podcasts, then either of the show names, and then look for the guest names. I now wish you and your family a day of connecting and supporting each other with plans and ideas. Have a week of the same, and then please plan to join me again next weekend for another hour of Sunday Morning Magazine and Inspirational Women on Warm 1069. Good morning and have a fabulous Christmas and or Hanukkah.